Wednesday, January 21st, 2025. In today's BTG episode, Carlton makes a date plan with Nicole, Ted asks Shanice to the club, and Jacob has a new assignment. Read the last BTG recap. Joey blackmailed Leslie, Vanessa was threatened by a client's husband, and Chelsea accepted drugs from an old friend. At home, Tyrell tells his dads he needs a new tux because he's so swole. His sister guesses this is because he's going to be arm candy for Jessica. Tyrell insists he's doing what he wants. They tell him he can't protest the cotillion at the cotillion. Samantha explains that it is already on Jessica's UCLA submission. She makes it clear that this is her first step in living up to the family legacy. Left alone, the two dads chat, but Smitty is distracted by a story idea. Marcel shows up for work, and Jacob complains about him being late and missing the video they had to watch. Jacob is surprised to see him in an expensive shirt that has lipstick on the collar. He assumes he was with Leslie. Marcel reminds him he's never pinned anything on Leslie. He suggests he get some from his wife and stop being so damn wound up. Elon joins them, and they tell Marcel that Jacob has a lead about an illegal plasma syndicate. Jacob brags that he's been picked to go undercover. Marcel says they better measure him for a body bag, but Jacob is determined. Elon insists his son gets the job, but warns him of what it may cost him. Going undercover will mean pulling away from his family. Shanice thinks of Ted. He calls and tells her that Obelisk is closed for a private party, so they will have to go somewhere else. Ted offers to take her to the club. She's intimidated. He assures her it's no Camelot, and he can bring whoever he wants. He gets off the phone when Kat shows up at his table in Orphe jeans. She starts complaining about him sharing her jean news with her sister. "The one person you cannot burst with is Eva," she says. She'd refuse an organ from his spare heir if she needed one. They argue about genetics, and she compares Eva to cancer. Ted says temper tantrums aren't cute. She reminds him he slept with a psycho. He declares apology season over. Ted has tried to own his wrongs, but he can't lower his head for the rest of his life. Dana was a mistake, but Eva is a gift, just like Martin and Kat. She says he couldn't have said anything more hurtful to her. He's known her his whole life and known Eva for a minute. Ted has love for all his children and can't choose one over the other. She can't look at him and walks out. He calls Shanice back and tells her he wants to show her off to everyone. She agrees to that, but wants to give Nicole a heads up. Carlton drops by Nicole's office with tickets for their upcoming date. He goes on about seeing Hamilton and offers to show her what it's like to spend the night with a real leading man. He's big on grand gestures and wants to erase her memories of Kial. He's waited too long to miss out of his chance with her. She tells him he's made the dating pool more than fine. She's owning her life, and that doesn't automatically equal monogamy. Nicole just got out of a bad place and needs them to be honest. He wouldn't have it any other way and can understand her wanting to see other people. There was a spark with Kial, but she feels a connection with Carlton. He promises he has attributes to show her. Kat bursts in to vent about her dad. Her mom reminds her to knock next time, and Carlton takes off. Kat is miffed when her mom sides with Ted. She urges her to stop letting resentment eat her up. She complains Eva gets to be a sensitive gangster, but she doesn't. Her mom advises her to bask in what she has for her own sake. Kat doesn't know how to stop hating Eva. She didn't get the forgiving gene, but the revenge one. Naomi drops by the hospital and talks to her mom's doctor. They sit to talk about her testing positive for the gene. They go over how the gene raises the risks, but doesn't necessarily mean cancer. Naomi gets a referral to a genetics counselor and a social worker. Jacob texts to complain he's having a day. She ignores it and tells the doctor she doesn't have energy to be a mom to her mom or turn her husband after their recent quake. Nicole bustles over and asks what they had their heads together about. They cover and runs off. Shanice corners Nicole, but she gets called away to deal with self-harm in the ER. Carlton joins Ted at Orphe Jeans, and they talk about how hard it will be to slip back into IPA nights when he's dating his wife. Ted says they have progress since he doesn't want to punch him. They chat about Kial, and Ted makes a crack about how he spells his name. Kat heads to Martin's to complain about her mom backing her dad up. She keeps having the same conversation every day. As they joke around, Samantha shows up and Kat starts giving her Deb lessons. Samantha gives her anger management lessons and urges her to put herself in Eva's shoes. Ted joins Shanice at the club. She wishes she'd had the chance to tell Nicole about this. Ted promises to focus only on her. Anastasia shows up to say he's traded in for a Mustang. Shanice calls her Antiques Roadshow, and a nag no one would want to ride. She storms off. Ted is impressed. As they are about to get their eat on, Nicole and Carlton arrive. Shanice didn't want Nicole to find out this way, but she and Ted are seeing each other. Kial runs into Vanessa while she's fighting with someone on the phone in the cafeteria. She remembers him from Winterfest. She hands him her card, and he asks if she was related to Doug. He pays his condolences and talks about being a widower. They chat about how life has been for him in the DMV, and she suggests he get a short-term rental. He'll let her know. "Hey, babes. Welcome back to Gossip Delight. It's your girl Daisy, and trust me, today's tea is scorching, steamy, and absolutely unmissable. Buckle up, because we're diving straight into the drama." Here are your spoilers for Beyond the Gates. On Friday, January 23rd, 2026, it's been a heavy time for Anita, and whatever she says to people, we know that she is hurting and scared. In Friday's episode, Anita leans on Sharon, sisters forever. Articulates strong. Seeing the strong Anita needing support puts a real touch to the episode and shows the vulnerability that even status and money can't fix. In Friday's episode, Bill buys Tomas's silence. What has Tomas seen or overheard this time? It must be about Danny, as what else could Bill need silence for? Bill is playing a dangerous game, and he should be using Tomas to keep an eye on different people, if only he knew he needed to. Leslie does not like what she sees one bit, even though Ted has made it very clear that he does not want a romantic future with her. She sees it differently. If Leslie can't have her, then no one should have Ted. In Friday's episode, Leslie confronts Shanice over Ted. This isn't going to be as easy as Leslie thinks. Shanice has proven she can handle herself in any room. These two ladies are always on the lookout for the next person as modeling talent, and they have just seen the next one right in front of them. In Friday's episode, Danny and Pamela set their sights on Isaiah. In Friday's episode, Ashley calls Derek out on his sabotage while Jacob begins his undercover mission. Derek has been taken off contract, and having Jacob on a dangerous undercover mission could spell disaster for him as well. Are we in danger of losing another cast member? We sure hope not. Marcel left just enough rope for Jacob to hang himself with, and it worked too well. Jacob made a strong case for selection for the assignment, and Elon relented. Will Elon regret this decision? Make sure to check out The Scoop and the next week sneak peek for a deeper look into what's to come this week and what you have to look forward to from your favorite characters and not-so-favorite characters in the DMV. The Friday, January 23rd, spoilers for Beyond the Gates, focus on Leslie once again confronting Shanice over Ted. She has seen the writing on the wall, and she doesn't like it. In other news, Jacob begins his undercover mission. Leslie doesn't like to share. She may be having fun with Detective Marcel Malone, but that doesn't mean she has forgotten about her one-sided true love, Dr. Ted Richardson. She has designs on him, and she won't let anybody get in her way now that Nicole has bowed out of the competition. On Friday, Leslie confronts Shanice over Ted. This isn't shocking, since Shanice and Ted are actually on a date at the country club. A little flirtation at the hospital is one thing, but a fancy date that essentially serves as their official coming out as a couple? Leslie will not let that continue, so she will undoubtedly mark her territory once again. Shanice is someone who will push back, however. How heated will this confrontation get? Tracy bungled her last visit with Anita when she tried to treat her with tough love but didn't read the room. Anita didn't want that. The weekly spoilers reveal that it's the other Articulette's turn to show her support for Anita during her cancer journey. Anita leans on Sharon, who has proven to be a real friend after a rocky restart. She even gave Vernon singing lessons so he could surprise his wife with a winning performance over the holidays. Jacob takes a big step in his career. Thanks to his ace investigating, he has a lead that could take down an organized crime ring. Instead of drugs or money, These guys deal in plasma, a million-dollar industry, according to Jacob. And so Elon approves his going undercover, for what sounds like the first time. Malone has no faith in the police chief's son, but Jacob seems determined to do it. The teasers also hint at Bill buying Tomas's silence. That may mean Tomas is aware of Bill and Danny's inability to stay away from each other, and that could mean good things for Tomas, like a partnership at Bill's firm. And finally, Danny and Pamela set their sights on Isaiah, most likely for their modeling agency. We'll see if Isaiah entertains their proposition. The guy seems serious about what he wants, and right now, it's his job at Banneker and Eva. However, a modeling side hustle could prove lucrative. Will Danny and Pamela be able to win him over? Saying that Nicole's Winterfest date, Kial, was his understudy, Carlton says it's time for her to go out with a real leading man. Although flattered, Nicole makes it clear that she is working on herself, and that means she's not ready to settle down with one guy. And although she had a nice time with Kial, and there was a spark, she's ready to continue seeing Carlton. Meanwhile, Vanessa crosses paths with Kial at the coffee shop and offers him her business card. Realtor, not escort. They bond over having lost their respective spouses. There are definitely flirtatious vibes between the pair. Naomi talks to Dr. An at the hospital, revealing in the course of their conversation that, as I suspected, she's been lying about her test results. Yes, Naomi tested positive for the BRCA gene. She's not sure how to feel about the results, let alone what to do next. The doctor refers her to a genetic counselor and a counselor, and Naomi explains why she isn't ready to tell anyone, including Jacob. Of course, just then Nicole walks up, wanting to know what they're talking about. Dr. An lies on the spot, much to Naomi's relief. Ted is on the phone with Shanice, making plans for their dinner date, when Kat storms into Orphe Jeans, demanding to know why he encouraged Eva to be there to support her. Kat goes into majorly insufferable mode, insisting that even if she needed an organ, she wouldn't take one from Kat. As she compares her sister to cancer, Ted declares an end to apology season, putting Kat in her place, or at least trying to. Dana was a mistake, he says. Eva was not. She was a gift. Kat is disgusted, refusing to share his love with her sister, saying she can't even look at him. Well, baby girl, he sadly responds, that makes two of us. Kat storms on over to Nicole's office, only to have Mom side with Ted, suggesting that her daughter move on. Martin, too, suggests Kat move on. But it's Sam who manages to give the best advice, suggesting Kat try and see things from the perspective of someone who doesn't hate Eva. Ted calls Shanice back, and she suggests they go somewhere they won't run into people he knows. When Ted refuses to keep their budding relationship in a bubble, saying he wants to show her off, she agrees, but only on the condition that she first talks to Nicole so as not to blindside her co-worker-friend. But before Shanice can talk to Nicole, the doctor is called away on an emergency. That evening, Anastasia tries to insult Shanice at the country club, but Shanice rises to the challenge, giving as good as, actually probably better, she gets. Anastasia leaves in a huff, and Ted declares Shanice the evening's winner. But of course, just as they're preparing to sit down for dinner, in come Nicole and Carlton. Now seating awkward, party of four. Noting Marcel has pep in his step and lipstick on his collar, Jacob is disgusted to realize the guy hooked up with Leslie. Marcel suggests the younger man butt out. Later, Elon needs someone to tackle a new case involving plasma being sold on the black market. Jacob immediately volunteers. While Marcel doesn't think Jacob has enough experience to handle the job, Elon agrees to give his son a chance, warning that this could have a huge impact on every aspect of his life. Tyrell tells Smitty and Martin that he wants a new tux so he can take Jessica to the cotillion. They question his change of heart, but he explains his motivations to their satisfaction. Drama is heating up fast on Beyond the Gates, and this week's episode is packed with emotions, secrets, and surprises. From risky love choices to angry phone calls and hidden crimes, every character seems to be standing on shaky ground. And just when you think things can't get more intense, they do. Danny finally opens up to Bill, and what she shares leads to a move no one sees coming. At the same time, Haley feels trapped and pressured, making this trio one of the most explosive storylines on the show right now. It's the kind of drama you can't look away from, messy, emotional, and ready to blow up at any moment. Adding fuel to the fire, Leslie suggests that she and Haley team up because they both want Bill to suffer. Leslie quickly realizes that Haley is playing a long game, which shows just how sharp and observant she is. But Danny may end up being the one who changes everything. Even though she doesn't love Bill anymore, she sees through people easily, and she strongly dislikes Haley. That alone might be enough for Danny to catch Haley's lies when it matters most. A husband's rage turns dangerous while secrets are unraveling. Another storm is brewing. Lance, Lolly's husband, makes an angry phone call after finding out his wife is using a dating service. At first, he thinks he's talking to April, the woman behind Heart Attack, but the truth won't stay hidden for long. Once Lance learns that Vanessa is really behind the service, things turn serious. In Thursday's episode, Vanessa is confronted, and the situation feels dangerous, especially since Joey is her man. With tempers rising and truths coming out, this storyline is shaping up to be one of the most intense yet. On the January 21st, 2026, episode of Beyond the Gates, long simmering tensions come to the surface as secrets, strained relationships, and unexpected encounters reshape Fairmont Crest. Naomi's private struggle takes a serious turn when it is revealed she tests positive for the BRCA gene, a truth she actively keeps from her loved ones, even as close calls threaten to expose her. Family dynamics remain volatile as Kat confronts Ted over Eva, only to find herself increasingly isolated when both parents urge her to move forward. Romantic undercurrents add further complications. Nicole reaffirms her focus on personal growth rather than commitment. Vanessa and Kial share a surprising connection, and Ted's budding relationship with Shanice collides with social realities at the country club. Elsewhere, professional and personal stakes rise as Jacob steps into a risky new case, while smaller moments signal shifting priorities across town. Awkward reunions, emotional revelations, and unresolved conflicts define a pivotal episode. The January 21st, 2026 episode of Beyond the Gates unfolds with secrets exposed, emotions running high, and multiple storylines colliding across Fairmont Crest. Nicole navigates her complicated love life when Carlton teasingly suggests she deserves a real leading man, dismissing her Winterfest date, Kial, as merely his understudy. Though flattered, Nicole makes it clear she is prioritizing herself and isn't ready to commit to one person. While she admits there was a spark with Kial, she chooses to continue seeing Carlton while keeping her options open. Elsewhere, Vanessa unexpectedly crosses paths with Kial at the coffee shop. The two bond over the shared experience of losing their spouses, and Vanessa offers him her business card, strictly as a realtor. Their interaction is warm and noticeably flirtatious, hinting at a potential new connection for both. At the hospital, Naomi's long-held secret is finally revealed. In a private conversation with Dr. An, she admits she tested positive for the BRCA gene and has been lying about her results. Overwhelmed and uncertain, Naomi explains she isn't ready to tell anyone, including Jacob. When Nicole unexpectedly walks up and asks what they are discussing, Dr. An quickly covers for Naomi, preserving her secret for now. Naomi is referred to both a genetic counselor and a therapist as she struggles to process what comes next. Tensions explode between Kat and Ted when Kat storms into Orphe Jeans, furious that Ted encouraged Eva to support her. Kat makes it clear she refuses to accept Eva in her life, even comparing her presence to cancer. Ted, reaching his limit, shuts down what he calls apology season, firmly declaring that while Dana was a mistake, Eva was a gift. Kat is disgusted and storms out, later confronting Nicole and finding little sympathy. Both Nicole and Martin urge her to move on, while Sam offers more measured advice, encouraging Kat to see the situation from a different perspective. Ted's personal life grows more complicated when his date with Shanice takes center stage. Shanice insists on speaking to Nicole before things progress, but an emergency prevents that conversation. At the country club, Anastasia attempts to belittle Shanice, only to be thoroughly outmatched. Ted proudly declares Shanice the winner of the exchange, just as Nicole and Carlton arrive, creating an unmistakably awkward foursome. Around Fairmont Crest, Jacob realizes Marcella has slept with Leslie and reacts with open disgust. Marcel warns him to stay out of his personal life. Soon after, Elon presents a case involving plasma being sold on the black market. Jacob eagerly volunteers, and despite Marcel's doubts, Elon gives his son a chance, warning that the case could affect every part of his life. Meanwhile, Tyrell announces he wants a new tux to take Jessica to the cotillion, explaining his change of heart to Martin and Smitty. Beyond the Gates, spoilers for Thursday, January 22nd, reveal some interesting moments up ahead. Vanessa McBride is in danger, while Joey Armstrong shares some intel. Plus, Bill Hamilton and Danny Dupree have a steamy moment. Find out more about Thursday's episode below. Beyond the Gates, spoilers for Thursday, January 22nd, note that something bad is about to happen to Vanessa. Could Leslie Thomas be at the helm of this, or could this be linked to her escorting business? If even a hair is misplaced on Vanessa's head, someone will have to deal with Joey, so fans will have to tune in to see how this storyline unfolds. Speaking of Joey, he'll have some interesting intel to share with Elon Hawthorne. With that said, what will Elon do with the information he gets? Only time will tell. Meanwhile, Beyond the Gates, spoilers for Thursday, offer a cryptic teaser by noting that before the show is over, two couples will take their romances to the next level. The first duo may be Shanice Johnson and Ted Richardson, but who will the second couple be? It feels like two couples will hit the sheets, but going to the next level really could mean anything. Speaking of that spoiler, BTG fans know that Bill and Danny will share a kiss in his office this week, as per this week's promo. However, will they do more? Could they be one of the couples that takes their relationship to the next level? Will the exes do the deed? Either way, Danny kissing Bill isn't good news at all. She's married to one of the good ones, and Andre Richardson has been an incredible partner and husband. Kissing Bill, or doing more, will shatter her marriage. So what's Danny thinking? What are you most looking forward to during Thursday's show? Comment below. Watch the CBS soap daily for all the Fairmont Crest drama and visit CTS regularly for the hottest Beyond the Gates news, updates, and spoilers. Here are your spoilers for Beyond the Gates on Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. In Thursday's episode, Danny opens up to Bill and then makes a surprising move. This, coupled with Haley feeling cornered, is going to be exciting. This trio is like a train wreck that we can't take our eyes off. It's volatile and is just waiting to explode. Leslie told Haley that they should team up as they both want Bill to suffer. Leslie, recognizing that Haley is playing a long game, was also very intuitive of her. Danny is the key to saving Bill. She may not love the man anymore, but she notices things, and she doesn't like Haley one bit, and that will be enough to see through Haley's lies when it counts. This won't be the first time that a HAC band has found out their wife is using a dating service, but it is the first time that this story has been the focus on BTG. The angry phone call was just the beginning. Lance is angry at April, the lady he thought he was calling, who runs Heart Attach. But it won't take long before he discovers the true identity and comes after Vanessa. In Thursday's episode, Vanessa is accosted. Dangerous, seeing as Joey is her man. In Thursday's episode, Joey gives Elon some much-needed intel. The USB drive that Joey gave to Leslie was an interesting development, and surely it has something that exposes her on the night that Laura was run off the road. Joey can't afford to take chances with Leslie, as she's proven to be resourceful and cunning. Removing her off the board entirely would be a smart move. In Thursday's episode, two couples take the next step in their relationships by the end of the night. Bets are in, and I'm picking it to be Jessica and Tyrell, and Ashley and Grayson. Unless, of course, I have missed another couple who haven't done the deed yet. Honorable mention. Maybe it's time that Nicole bedded Carlton. That could be fun for Dr. Rollins to hear about. Make sure to check out The Scoop and the next week sneak peek for a deeper look into what's to come this week and what you have to look forward to from your favorite characters and not so favorite characters in the DMV. Here's what went down Wednesday, January 21st, 26 on Beyond the Gates. When Naomi went undercover to get the lowdown on Bercia, Jacob was hot to go undercover at work, and Smitty's new article had undercover implications of its own. On Beyond the Gates, Vanessa slammed her phone down at the food court, attracting the attention of Kial. The two realized they had met at Winterfest, with Vanessa apologizing for once again acting out, as she had at the gala. The tone became slightly flirtatious, and Vanessa handed Kial a business card for her real estate firm. Kial recognized the name McBride and made the connection between Vanessa and Doug, offering his condolences when he learned that Doug had passed. Vanessa was surprised to learn that Kial had also lost a spouse, calling it a strange club we're in. She then shared that she'd heard Kial was a bit of a medical nomad and asked how he was liking the DMV. Kial replied that he had, so far, discovered some surprises. Naomi came to Garland Memorial to chat with Anita's practitioner, Dr. Ahn. The lawyer admitted that she had indeed tested positive for the BRCA gene variant, which would make her more susceptible to cancer, and she wanted answers. Ahn understood Naomi's need for facts, but also advised her to give herself space to feel and seek out emotional support. The doctor referred Naomi to both a genetics counselor and a social worker. Naomi refused to burden Anita further and didn't have it in her to be a mother to her own mother, who also carried the mutation. Ahn suggested that Naomi turn to Jacob, but Naomi didn't want to shake things up when she and Jacob had just survived a crisis. Just then, Nicole arrived and wondered what Naomi and Ahn were in conference about. Ahn covered and claimed that she had approached Naomi for legal advice, and Naomi's relief was palpable. At the police precinct, Jacob took Marcel to task for missing a briefing and wondered why the suddenly more cheerful veteran had blood on his collar. When Jacob saw that the stain was lipstick, he fumed that Marcel was sleeping with the "it's still an open case" psycho Leslie Thomas. Marcel spat that Jacob hadn't been able to prove the allegations against Leslie, and added that Jacob wouldn't be so wound up if he was getting some from his wife. Elon entered and wanted to discuss Jacob's discovery of a black market plasma ring. "Funny what you miss when you're getting busy with the town pariah," Jacob told a confused Marcel. Elon was ready to hand out an undercover assignment designed to take the ring down. After Marcel made some vampire jokes, he flexed that he was still the best choice, though his notoriety might mean requiring plastic surgery from Ted. Jacob wanted the case, since it had been through his informant that he had discovered the syndicate. When Elon began to agree with Marcel that Jacob didn't have the experience, Jacob lobbied for the assignment, not wanting to be passed over again. Police Chief Hawthorne ultimately entrusted his son with the investigation, causing Marcel to jeer, "It's your funeral, kid!" Jacob was ready to work, but when Elon reminded him that he would be on call 24 hours a day, his enthusiasm faded somewhat. Tyrell surprised his sister and fathers by announcing that he needed a new tuxedo. Samantha cracked that her Captain Hypocrite bro was only ready to bow down to the patriarchy of debutante culture so he could be arm candy for Jessica. Martin did find Tyrell's change of heart convenient, and Smitty frowned that, if Tyrell was truly going to take part in the cotillion, he needed to be all in and not try to make any public statements against it. Samantha further leaked that Jessica had only agreed to attend because it would look good on her UCLA application, but Tyrell said he understood the importance of the event being a family thing and vowed to be on his best behavior. Later, Martin was talking about Tyrell's reversal, but Smitty was distracted by what he was reading on his phone. The reporter divulged that he was working on a new story idea, but it was just a puff piece. Martin remembered his husband's last human interest story about Marcel, and hoped that, this time, the human involved wouldn't be so dangerous. Ted was at a table at Orphe Jean's, telling Shanice by phone that they'd have to go somewhere else besides Obelisk for their date. As the restaurant was closed for a private function, Shanice recoiled at Ted's idea to dine at the country club, since that was the territory and legacy of Nicole's family. Plus, Shanice was sure that Nicole wouldn't want to watch her ex high-step on her home turf with a new woman. Ted maintained that both he and Nicole were dating now, and that he liked Shanice a lot, so he didn't care what anyone thought of his bringing Shanice to the club. Kat interrupted Ted's call, coming down on her father for inviting my trifling half-sisters behind all up in my business. Ted felt that Kat not having inherited the BRCA gene mutation had been joyous news worthy of sharing, and was intent that Kat and Eva might need each other someday. Kat sneered that Eva was as much of a genetic aberration as BRCA. Ted was infuriated that his one daughter had equated his other daughter to cancer. Ted announced that his apology season was over. Yes, he had erred in cheating on Nicole with Leslie, but he had still been a good father, and to Ted, Eva was a gift, the same way Martin and Kat were. Kat was horrified that Ted could have the same fatherly feelings for newcomer Eva that he had for Kat, whom he'd known her whole life. "I can't even look at you right now," Kat said glumly. "That makes two of us," Ted replied, after which Kat got up and left. Carlton visited Nicole with theater tickets and remarked that he had once seen Hamilton starring an understudy for Lin-Manuel Miranda, but that it hadn't been the same. Nicole got the meaning that Carlton saw himself as Nicole's leading man, not Kial, and grinned that Carlton might be jealous. When Carlton admitted that he didn't want Dr. Travel-A-Lot to cut in line ahead of him, Nicole realized she had blindsided the absent Carlton by going to Winterfest with Kial, but went on that she was in a place where she was exploring what would work for her in her new normal, and that didn't necessarily mean monogamy. Carlton understood why Nicole didn't want to tie herself down so soon after ending her marriage and asked if she had any real interest in Kial. Nicole had enjoyed her time with Rollins and conceded that she'd felt a spark with him, yet it was Carlton with whom she had been feeling a true connection. "I have some attributes you haven't seen yet," Carlton replied confidently, but his kiss with Nicole was intruded upon by Kat, who burst in instructing her mother to tell her ex that he couldn't talk to her the way he just had. Nicole sternly reminded Kat that she had taught her to knock. Carlton took the faux pas in stride and departed, looking forward to taking Nicole on their date later. Kat found the coupling of Nicole and Carlton to be weird but sweet, but when Kat ranted about Ted taking Eva's side while the family was dealing with the Big C, Nicole warned that Kat's never-ending resentment was eating away at her and changing who she was. After Nicole relayed that Anita's cancer was a sign that time was precious and that Eva wasn't giving Kat a second thought, Kat confessed that she had no idea how to stop hating Eva. After all, she hadn't inherited Nicole's forgiveness gene. She had instead gotten Danny's scorched earth, shoot up the country club and revenge gene. Despite Nicole worrying that Kat would be laser-focused on Eva until the second coming, Kat countered with, "or until Eva's self-inflicted downfall." Kat moved on to Martin's, but he wouldn't co-sign his full sister's feud with his half-sister either. "I know, I'm exhausted with myself," Kat sighed, remaining frustrated that no one would deliver me from Eva. Samantha appeared, excited that Kat had come to give her Deb lessons, but even then, Kat couldn't help popping off about people liking options, like they enjoyed having an extra daughter. Samantha tried to empathize with Kat, gaining a sudden sister, and imparted a technique she and Tyrell frequently used, where they would picture switching places with the person they were mad at. Kat balked, but Samantha likened it to trying on a dress. She counseled her aunt to start with trying to see Eva from Eva's point of view, then visualizing what it would be like not to hate her, and landing on what it would be like to be her. Kat understood that Samantha had forgiven June. Samantha added that doing so had given her back to herself. As Kat processed this, Smitty got a text relating to his mystery article and made himself scarce, earning a concerned look from Martin. Shanice took a second call from Ted and proposed that perhaps they should limit their outings to places where people they knew wouldn't see them together. Ted initially teased that Shanice could be his dirty little secret, then got serious and swore he wasn't going to camouflage his actions anymore. He was proud to be with Shanice anywhere. Shanice wanted to observe the girl code and tell Nicole she was going out with her ex first. But when she tried, Nicole got an emergency call, which upended her chance. Seeing Carlton at the diner, he and Ted exchanged uncomfortable pleasantries until Ted remarked that he had inexplicably given Carlton advice about dating his own ex. "I'm being an ass, aren't I?" Carlton granted, though Ted said it was progress that he wasn't feeling an urge to punch him. When Ted said he had a date, Carlton snarked that at least his competition for Nicole was down to one man instead of two. Ted remembered that Nicole had allowed Dr. Rollins to escort her to Winterfest and couldn't help getting a kick out of Carlton being blocked by a guy who spelled his name Kial. Ted squired a nervous Shanice into the country club. She was flustered and conscious that strangers would be judging her. Shanice felt better for a moment once Ted said he only wanted to concentrate on her, but then the couple was accosted by Fairmont Crest gossip Anastasia, who sassed Ted for trading in thoroughbred Dupree heiress Nicole for untamed Mustang Shanice. Shanice immediately cut in and asked, "Did Antiques Roadshow just compare me to a wild horse?" Anastasia kept up her attitude, so Shanice declared herself a golden showstopper and Anastasia an old overbred filly that no one wanted to ride anymore. Ted was as amused as he was shocked, and when Anastasia sniffed, "I never," he added. "You never will if you keep acting like that." Anastasia departed aghast, leaving Ted and Shanice to laugh over the encounter. However, just as they began to make themselves comfortable in the banquet room, Nicole and Carlton arrived for their own date. Ted was unruffled, but when Nicole put it together that this was what Shanice had wanted to talk to her about, Shanice demurely concurred that she hadn't wanted Nicole to find out this way that she and Ted were seeing each other. The Thursday, January 22nd, spoilers for Beyond the Gates focus on Danny as she opens up to Bill and then makes a surprising move. Meanwhile, Haley feels cornered and Vanessa is accosted. Danny is going through a trying time right now. Her mother has cancer, and she discovered that she carries the BRCA gene. Sure, she thinks both of her girls are in the clear, and she continues to be drawn to Bill during this crisis. And it doesn't help that Andre heads to New York for a photo shoot. While he's gone, she turns to her ex once again. Apparently, she opens up to Bill and then makes a surprising move. In BTG's video preview for this week, she and Bill kiss. Does this mean that she initiates it? Haley is super annoyed at her husband paying so much attention to Danny. Bill doesn't even hide it at this point. He can't stop being Danny's rock. But Haley has a deadly plan, and it's going at a snail's pace. She keeps having to force him into drinking her herbal tea concoction, even though he hates it. Leslie is also onto her con artist ways and continues to suggest they team up. But on Thursday, the weekly spoilers reveal that Haley's cornered. Is it Leslie again? Does her old friend Lynette come back around? Or maybe Thomas finally corners Haley to talk about overhearing her phone call to her cousin. Remember that phone call Vanessa recently fielded from that irate husband? He was angry that his wife was a client of Vanessa's escort service, Heart Attach. He sounded like a problem that wouldn't go away anytime soon. Maybe he is the one who suddenly accosts Vanessa. Will she be okay? And if it is this guy, he's making a big mistake. Little does he know who Vanessa's significant other is. He doesn't want to get on the bad side of Joey Armstrong. Joey and his police chief pal Elon are about to connect again. This time, Joey gives Elon some much-needed intel. Does it have anything to do with the information he collected to blackmail Leslie? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you!